Well, hello there, and you're very welcome to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That doesn't sound like the dulcet tones of Mr. Bill Frady. Well, it's because it's not. Odie Fitzgerald fitting in for Bill today. Bill is taking a much needed break. I think he could be at the range. He could be down at the range. And if you've been listening to Bill's show, you'll know why Bill may be at the range. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Well, how did Turkey Day go yesterday? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you have fun? Did you have First of all, did you have turkey? That's what I need to know. Did you eat turkey or were you a little bit like my house? We decided that we didn't want to have turkey, so we were going to go with something non-traditional. Steaks were had. No, they weren't too bad. They were not too bad at all. You want to get in touch with me, you can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Or if you want to have a chat, you want to have a little talk with Odie, well, you can get me on the WORD talk line 800-905-0989. Yes, we are 100% live and a little bit dangerous. And don't forget, if you want to have a little look and see what this Odie fella looks like, well, we're streaming live on the YouTubes and the Facebooks, and get me on the 98.9 Facebook page or on my own YouTube page, which is Odie_Fitzgerald or Odrin Fitzgerald, whichever way you want to look at it, it's going to be right there. But getting back to it, how exactly was your Thanksgiving Day? It's a kind of a day where you need to just sit back and relax and unless you're the one cooking. If you're the one cooking in the house, then all hell is going to break loose. You're looking at everything. You're making sure that the turkey doesn't get overdone, and then you've got your deviled eggs. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about deviled eggs. Are they? Is there too much hype around deviled eggs? I need to know that. I need to know. Like, I never really tried them until I came over here to America. And see, first of all, I have to explain that we don't have Thanksgiving in Ireland. We don't because well, we've already been there, and we didn't go anywhere. We we stayed in. Now we moved out of Ireland after that, but we don't have Thanksgiving, so we don't really. Now we've a lot to give thanks for, but we never actually have a Thanksgiving. So this whole thing of having turkey twice a year, it's a little bit alien for us. Turkey and ham, and then you're stuffing. Is it stuffing or here is the age-old question: is it stuffing or is it dressing? And is there a difference? There has to be some difference between stuffing and dressing, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. But I like to call it stuffing. And one thing I like to do, especially, is after Thanksgiving. Now I won't be able to do it this year because, as I said, we had steaks in the house. There's no turkey in the house. I like to get some turkey, and I like to get some stuffing because I call it stuffing. And I like to get a little bit of gravy, and I just put it all over it. Put it between two slices of bread, down the hatch, and I call it Thanksgiving dinner part two. And I
Hey, caller,
really,
who am I speaking to?
really enjoy that because it's just one
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner is never enough. Never enough. I like it. On the okay. I'm after opening. The floodgates have opened. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Odie, you need to just throw away
First of
those
all,
deviled
it's
eggs.
system.
Straight from wherever you make them, right into the trash can. There you go. I've got a limerick. It's Odie. It says my Thanksgiving tribute. Limerick alert. There was a meal. The meal was the best it could be. I ate everything I could see. Uh, it's after moving. I am sorry, Alan. Everything moved on me, but sadly, I recall uh, some said butterball, and I felt all the eyes looking at me. So that, yeah, okay, there you go. Odie, it is called stuffing if it is cooked in the bird, and dressing if it is outside the bird. Huh. Okay. Um, or the stuffing is in the bird, dressing is cooked by itself. So there is a difference. So does that mean I like dressing more than stuffing? Because I think I like the crispier stuffing. Is that a thing? Because I know you can do it on the oven top. Is it the stove top? Stove top dressing. You can do it on that, but you can do the oven top, stove top. Sorry, and you can do it inside the bird. But if you do it outside of it and you bake the stuffing, see that's what I used to do when I was cooking back in Ireland. Was I used to bake the stuffing and it'd get crispy, so you could kind of pick it up and there'd be little lumps and you could bite into it. I definitely enjoyed that. 100% enjoyed that. But when it comes to the turkey as well, are you a conventionalist? Do you like to have your stuffing, or do you like to have your turkey from the oven, or do you smoke a turkey, or do you create a fireman's nightmare and try and deep fry your turkey out in your backyard? I've seen it happen. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried deep frying a turkey. Now I've tasted deep fried turkey, and it's I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really do. But when it comes to actually, when it comes to growing the plums to actually do it, I haven't been able to do it because I'm a little bit afraid. I am a little bit nervous and a little bit terrified because I've seen it go wrong. I've seen people that didn't defrost the turkey enough and then they put it into the hot oil and it just explodes. I've seen it where they put in too much peanut oil into the container. And then when they put the turkey into it, they don't allow for just the mass of the turkey, and it makes the oil rise, and then the oil falls out the side. And because you're heating it with it's either a propane burner or something like that, it catches fire, and then all of a sudden, it's just gone. It's gone. What else we got? The topic of whether it's stuffing or dressing is really after kicking off. I'm sorry. You see, you weren't expecting this on your Friday afternoon, whether we were going to have a massive debate about stuffing. The text line is just after going a little bit crazy. And they're saying again, if it is served inside the no, hold on now. Okay, so you're saying Texter 736, you're saying if it's served in the bird, it's stuffing, and if it's separate pan, it's dressing. But are you going to serve? I mean, you're going to cut the bits off the turkey and then you're going to put them on the plate. Are you going to scoop out some of the stuffing and then put it onto the plate as well? Because it's not really being served in it; it's being cooked in it, but it's not really. Okay, each to their own. I'm not going to nitpick on it. Odie, deviled eggs are great, but so are grits. Texter, we are not opening this. We talked about this last Sunday night. Now, look, if you really want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But I'm not opening the can of worms about the grits because, well, I won't say it got heated, but a lot of people said to me that grits need to just go straight into the trash. I've tried grits, and a lot of people said, "Well, where have you tried your grits?" And I've tried them at the Waffle House, and they said they're not real grits. Oh, look, do you know what? For the day that's in it, are grits a real thing? Are they a real food? Is there a special way to eat grits? Because nobody eats grits naked. Yes, I've said it. Nobody eats grits naked. And I'm not talking about the items of clothing you're wearing. I'm talking about the amount of butter or cheese or bacon or sausage or onions or shallots or gravy or anything that you have to put into grits to give them a little bit of flavor. I will be taking your calls and I will be taking anything you want to talk about when we come back. And I'm also going to be talking about people that spend way too much money on stuff they don't be needing to send it on. You are listening to Newstalk 98.9 WORD, and this is the voice of the Turkey and the Carolinas.
I can't. Let's see. See if I can. All right. Uh, okay, cool. Whenever you can, if you look at the conference, you can see their name, and then you just call it out, and I'll put them on. Got you. Got you. Yeah. Okay, 3 minutes out. Hey, caller, you with me? Hey, yeah. He just had a packed few minutes. He had his beginning segment, but in another couple minutes we'll come back and he will bring you on. Yeah, absolutely. So you can turn your radio off and you'll hear it on your phone. Got you. Absolutely. Thanks, Val. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
This year, the Upstate Holiday Light Show is bigger and brighter than ever. Open now at District Park at the intersection of 123 and 153. 32 million dancing lights, carnival rides, petting zoo, and so much more. Complete details at upstatelights.com.
The Legacy Box Black Friday event starts now. Radio listeners can enjoy reliving their meaningful memories for an insane 65% off.
Legacy Box is the best gift for you or a family member. And during our Black Friday event, there's never been a better time to preserve your past. Legacy Box start at only $27, with savings of over $400 when you digitize your whole collection.
Legacy Box is simple and safe. We digitize everything by hand here in the USA. You'll get your originals back, plus digital copies that protect your tapes, film reels, and photos from floods, mold, even the decay of time.
Make the holidays special and shop our best deal of the year. Visit legacybox.com to shop our Black Friday event and take an unreal 65% off. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
The Legacy Box Black Friday event starts now. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. That's legacybox.com/value to take 65% off. Legacybox.com/value.
This new dose is... Nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool.
Sure the ads aren't put out on
These are the
stream.
lowest cost options.
Say what?
Oh, that's
I said you have the ads going out on the stream.
This
Got you.
is supporting you every step of the way. Chat with the pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
An official message from Medicare. A couple more minutes and we'll start this month.
We shouldn't.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open
Let me
enrollment.
see.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you got to make sure your
4,
drugs
4.
are covered. That's important.
No.
So with saving money, review all your options. Services.
Let your voice be heard.
9050989. This is Straight Talk with Bill Frady.
Let your voice be heard.
98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. It's me, Odie Fitzgerald, filling in for Bill as best I can. Bill is taking a much needed break. He's, as I said, he's down at the range, and if you listen to Bill's show quite a bit, you'll know why he's at the range. And I am going to be talking about that in a few minutes. And maybe if Bill is listening or tuning in, well, he might just pop on. What? Maybe. Anyway, you can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, or you can get me on the WRD talk line, which Val has done right now. Val up in North Carolina, how are you doing and how is your Thanksgiving going?
Yeah, happy post Thanksgiving. We had a great one.
Did you have did you have your turkey and did you have all the dressings or stuffing? And are you suffering a little bit today? Was it a heavy night or just way too much food?
Well, it was a wonderful but different Thanksgiving. 9 weeks ago, my family was by the river and we had flooding and we were trapped and
Oh, right.
got
Okay. Yeah.
helicoptered out after 4 days. It was just a miracle story.
Mhm.
But we lost pretty much everything. So this year, thankfully, we have another place to stay. But didn't think we were going to be able to do the traditional Thanksgiving, and probably just going to go to a community meal.
Yeah.
And my kids said to me, "Ma, please, we have to have." We're from New England originally, and Thanksgiving's really big up there, if
Mhm.
you can imagine. And I just said, "Well, if you want Thanksgiving dinner, we're going to have to pray for it." And the next day, someone contacted our family and said, "We want to give you an Ingles card so you guys can go out and buy all the stuff you need to make a Thanksgiving meal."
Wow.
And it was beautiful. I was able to make the turkey
Yeah.
and up north stuffing, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, you name it, all that good stuff. And it was just a wonderful day together with my husband and children, and had so much to count our blessings for this year.
That really is, Val. That is absolutely amazing. And sometimes, just sometimes, the people in this world really surprise me. Like they
Yeah.
really do. Yeah, I understand. I mean, we were touched by the hurricane. Obviously, nowhere near as badly as you were in North Carolina, but down here
Yeah.
in South Carolina, we did experience quite a bit. But my heart goes out to everybody that in North Carolina that, especially
Yeah.
this time of year, with you've Thanksgiving and you've got Christmas coming up as well. And there is
Yeah.
a lot of people in your predicament where there may not be an option and they may not have the means or the capability of having Thanksgiving. But and then you go and say that somebody dropped off an Ingles card and you were able to, celebrate Thanksgiving and to be thankful. And you've got a lot to be thankful for. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of bad stuff has happened, but as you say yourself, you were able to celebrate with your husband and your kids and have a good old fashioned, with a twist, Thanksgiving dinner.
That's right. That's right. And I just want to share one other quick thing.
Yeah, go
The
for it.
day before, I have 7 kids, and my 2 oldest boys, 20 and 16, they have been itching to go and help other people because, the first few weeks it was just shock and trying to replace belongings, and
Yeah.
just our heads were spinning. And then we got sick, and then I said, as soon as we can get up to the mountains, we're going to give back, we're going to help. And I just so happened to have a volunteer that I met while working on our old house and cleaning out, came down from a church, up from a church in South Carolina who I met, who became very dear to me. And I told her, I said, "Hey, Stephanie, I want to go up to the mountains." I said, "We got some donations." I said, "My boys want to serve, and I think it would be a great way
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving to help us count our blessings." And so the day before Thanksgiving, I took my sons up there and we served up at Silverado's and watched just how beautiful humanity is. You'll never see it on the news, but there were lines of cars all day, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people picking up needed supplies and clothing and food. And there was a second line that didn't stop the whole time we were there, of trucks and cars and campers with donations that we were unloading. And out of 50 volunteers that were there, I mean, I didn't meet half of them, but the ones I met people from South Carolina, Indiana, California, Georgia, Texas, all there serving. And I said to my
Mhm.
boys, I said, "Look around you." I said, "This is the best of America."
And that is one thing. This is one Thanksgiving that your boys are never ever going to forget. Ever going to forget. Val, thank you very much for your call. I really appreciate you calling in. But there you have it. It's the amount of people, the amount of goodwill that comes out. And like, I don't care what color you wear, whether it's red or blue or any color. I don't care. When people need to roll up their sleeves and to help each other out, humanity can it really can shock me sometimes. And, shock me in the nice way. Like, I mean, you see so much bad stuff happening on the news. You see wars, and I hate it. I hate looking at the news, watching war, like seeing what's happening in Israel and seeing what's happening between the Russians and Ukraine. But yet, yes, we had a bad year. Yes, it hasn't been a fantastic year. But when you hear Val's story about the amount of people coming out and helping and giving up their time for people who are in need, people who are being needy, there's people out there, and as Val says, they didn't think that there was going to be a Thanksgiving this year because they didn't think they were going to have it, and then someone out of nowhere came back and, yep, humanity. It sometimes it can shock you for all of the right reasons. Now, speaking of right and wrong reasons, people have been talking to me about their grits. Grits, no. So one person texted in on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Grits do need salt and butter. Cheese is good in them too, and they're ground corn in the Huddle House and Waffle House. Yeah, they're not that good. But you see, if you go to any of the places and you buy grits, then you have to put a lot of stuff into them either. I want grits to be like porridge. Has anybody out there text in if you've had porridge, if you've ever eaten porridge? You can eat porridge with nothing on it at all. It doesn't need salt. It doesn't need anything. Porridge is just porridge, and it's lovely. You cannot. I defy anybody out there to tell me if you have eaten grits with absolutely nothing on. I don't mean I don't mean sitting around eating your breakfast naked, which you can do if that's your preference. Go for it. Just be careful. That's all I will say to you. Now, have you ever spent a ridiculous amount of money on something that, it just wasn't, there was no need for it? No need for it. Well, a cryptocurrency entrepreneur who purchased a piece of conceptual art. Now, when I say conceptual art, I'm using the word art very, 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 very playfully. There is a banana that was duct taped to a wall. A banana, that's it. Nothing fancy, just a banana that was duct taped to a wall. And it sold, this art form sold in Hong Kong for $6.2 million. A banana stuck to a wall with duct tape sold for $6.2 million. Ben, we're in the wrong business, buddy. We are definitely in the wrong business.
Are you telling me?
Yeah, I mean, like, how can you justify $6.2 million for a banana on a wall?
In his defense, that Justin Sun kid, he seems like a pretty good guy.
Yeah. Anyway, Justin Sun, as Ben said, he said that the entrepreneur Justin Sun stated that there was a piece of cultural phenomenon and art building in memes and in cryptocurrency. He said, well, you know what? I'm just going to eat it. I am just going to eat it. The artwork titled The Comedian. That's what the art. That's if you get a banana and you put it on a wall, it's called The Comedian. Yeah, you can do it yourself. I mean, I will give people lessons on how to make banana wall art. No problem at all. I will definitely do that for you, 100%. And then you too can sell it for $6.2 million because that's apparently the going rate. The art form was created by an Italian artist. I'm not even going to try that. I think it's Lorenzo Catalan. And so, like, what got into this guy's brain? He says, I'm going to buy this art form. He must be worth billions of dollars. He has to be. But I can't understand what went into his brain. He said, I'm going to eat this art form. I could put the $6.2 million to good use around the world. But no, I'm going to eat it. Anyway, on the text line, Tommy Boy from Greenville, I make stone ground grits with butter and heavy cream, salt, pepper, cheddar, and smoked Gouda on top with a smoked pork belly. See, here's the thing, man. Tommy Boy, you listen to me now. Listen to your Uncle Odie here for 1 second. All right, I'm just going to get it. Just bring it in here for 1 second. You just need to get yourself a pork belly, and you need to put some salt and pepper and a little bit of cheddar and smoked Gouda on the pork belly. Forget all about the stone ground grits. And there you go. You're fine, because that's all you're doing is you're just adding misery to something that's already lovely. Now, somebody will prove me wrong sometime about grits. Odie, I eat porridge with butter and sugar. Again, beautiful. And if you're going to eat porridge with butter and sugar, please make sure it is, of course, Kerrygold butter. Yeah, they're not sponsoring me yet, but hopefully they will be. Odie, you need some funky grits. Funky grits. Grits, sausage, onion, green peppers, celery, and cheese. Again, that meal would be absolutely beautiful if you just remove the grits. You don't have to have the grits in it. And yes, I know there is a lot of Southern people here. They're listening and they're saying, Odie, you can't give out about the grits. But you tell me if I'm right or wrong. You need to have something with the grits. You need to. You have to, because if you don't, it's just not nice. So yeah, funky grits is grits with sausage, onions, green pepper, celery. No, can't. What grain is porridge? Porridge is oats. That's what it is. No, I don't like grits. It gives me a stomach ache. It's corn. No thanks. Eating too much corn causes. I'll have to look up that pelega. No, I'm going to look that one up again. Odie, do you eat mashed potatoes plain? Yes, Texter on 182. I eat mashed potatoes plain. Why is that? Because I am a leprechaun. 100% leprechaun. When I come back, I'm going to be letting you know what's happening over in France at the minute. The Cathedral of Notre Dame. Well, it's after getting jazzed up a little bit. I'm going to be telling you all about that. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
Tara, Bill, Charlie, Joey, and me, Mike Gallagher. We lead the conversation each and every day on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This report is brought to you by B&K Services. They're the cool experts in heating and air. B&K Services will keep your day as cozy as a polar bear's. With over 40 years of exceptional service, they're the cool experts in heating and air with 24/7 emergency service. Book your next service and receive 15% off. Go to
98.9 WORT.
The voice of the Carolinas.
You're listening to Straight Talk. Bill Frady, Odie sitting in for Bill. Bill would be back on Monday with bells on. Don't forget, we are streaming live as well. So if you're watching us from anywhere on the planet on the live stream, you're very welcome to the show. Trey says, hey, Odie, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, not bad. Darren says to me, Sláinte. Well, how are you? Sláinte is hello or cheers or welcome or no, fall should be welcome. It's kind of, all the different stuff. It's a nice way of saying hello. I'm Italian and I can't eat grits. My people eat, is it Pontella? There's a difference. Okay. Well, that's fine. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, Odie, I eat grits with butter and that's it. And that's texter, that's what I've been talking about. You have to put something onto it. Another texter says to me, Odie, grits can cause gas. Yes, they do. And that's other thing. Well, I mean, milk can cause that as well. And lots of things can cause gas and little flatulations. It happens. Sometimes it'll pop out. Odie, try your porridge with a spoonful of butter, peanut butter. It is delicious. Yes, it is. I have tried it. Tommy Boy. Oh, Tommy Boy. Hey, Tommy Boy. You been back on? Tommy Boy's been back on. He says, let me make it for you and see if I can change your mind. You're not going to. You're not going to. I just do not like grits. No. The grits, to me, are the devil. Yes, they are. 100% they are the devil. Odie, the only way to eat grits is with butter, salt, and pepper, and a sunny side egg mixed in together. Again, texter, here is the thing. That's what I'm after saying to you. And this is going to be on my gravestone. Grits are horrible. It's going to be there. That's what I'm going to put down on it. You need to put something on grits to make them nice. And that's what everybody that has texted me so far has said to me, that they need to put something onto it. So grits is just a binding agent. 100%. Odie, smashed potatoes already have milk and butter and potatoes mixed up. No, they don't. How? They don't. If you get if you're buying your mashed potatoes, if you're buying them in a box from a store, that's not mashed potatoes. That's some sort of actually, that's something I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. I'll talk about it in 1 second. Let me get off my little rant here about mashed potatoes. If you buy your mashed potatoes from a box, no, they're not mashed potatoes. It's some sort of processed BS that was put into a box, and it's not real. I mean, it may have resembled a potato at one stage. But if you want real mashed potatoes, you have to go to the store and you have to buy your potatoes. You got to peel them, or not. Some people don't peel them. You got to boil them up, get them nice and boiled till you stick your knife into it and the knife goes in all the way through. Then you drain the water. Then you get your masher and you mash them all up. Now, you can eat them without anything on it and they will taste absolutely fantastic because potatoes are nicer than grits. There you go. I've said it. On the stream, Jin has just popped in. Hello, Jin. We've missed you. And he says, grits are good. No, Jin, do you put something onto them? John has been on the stream as well. He said, it's like eating sandpaper. 100%. I'm with you on that. Cody, a lot of text coming in. Cody, no, because I'm Odie, does no okay. If you make grits, you would like them, and I have plenty of people tell me that they don't like grits, but after they make them, no, you see? And Jin has been back on the stream and said, yes, butter, salt, and pepper. They're not naked. Eating grits naked. That is going to be my epitaph upon my tombstone is going to be, here lies Odie. Grits are horrible. Odie, liquid grits in a jug are better. That's called beer. That last time I checked, liquid grits is called beer. Okay, listen, I got to move on here a little bit. Now, if you remember, 5 years ago, there was a devastating fire in 2019, and the Notre Dame Cathedral, not Notre Dame, which is a football team. Yeah, look, I'm going to show my football ignorance, and I have no idea where Notre Dame is in the football thing. I know they're the Fighting Irish, and that's about all I know about that. Oh yeah, okay, okay. Sorry, I just got a message in from somebody who shall remain nameless, and it said that this is a message for Cody. It says the grits are nasty and they are disgusting, and people need to quit. Stop pushing them upon us. I will not say who sent that message into me, but we'll just call him Mr. Zoe, first name Lon. And yes, grits should not be pushed upon us. No, liberate the oppression of the grits. Sorry, that threw me completely off thing. But yes, getting back to the Notre Dame, it's in Paris. It's a cathedral in Paris, and it was devastated in 2019 by a fire. It has now been fully restored, and it's revealing the breathtaking transformation. Interiors are now shining with light, and they're showcasing the cathedral's original stone and intricate details. Restoration process involves meticulously cleaning and preservation of the historic elements, such as the grand organ and the chapels. Now, so that was 5 years ago, okay? There has been a lot of money spent to get the cathedral. Remember, 5 years ago, the entire cathedral, apart from the stone walls, was completely devastated. And it just goes to show that if you have something that wants that something that stands out in people's, I won't say minds, but because it's such a high profile, so the Cathedral of Notre Dame, so many people donated money to it. They donated money to the cathedral. Yes, I know it is an art. The entire cathedral itself is an art form. It is a work of art. It is absolutely stunning. I've seen it. I've been in Paris. I looked at the cathedral and I said, when I got there, I was like, oh, that's not a bad looking cathedral. I got inside in it and I was looking around it, and yeah, it was lovely. But in 5 years they rebuilt it. Just imagine, if you will, that all of those people that donated money to the cathedral to get it back looking in its former glory, if they had put money into something else. I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm just going to leave it with that. Hmm. When I come back, yeah, Gritgate. I'm going to call it Gritgate. It's really ramped up. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Conor McGregor and how he's after messing up big time. But yes, the grits. It's all about the grits here today. You're listening to Newstalk 98.9 WRD, the voice of Get Rid of Grits.
Why do these have? Oh my gosh, dude.
And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Bill will be back on Monday. Odie Fitzgerald filling in as best I can. Now, Conor McGregor, everybody knows Conor is a UFC fighter. Well, he was a UFC fighter. It's been about 3 years since he last time got into the ring or the diamond, the octagon, whatever you want to call it. Well, Conor has been up to no good. Last week, a woman who accused the mixed martial artists fighter of raping her in a hotel penthouse in 2018 was awarded nearly 250,000 euros, which equates to about $260,000 in damages last Friday, after a jury found him liable for the sexual assault and civil trial in Dublin. Now, so I talked about this a couple of weeks. I talked about this last week on my own show, Sunday Nights with Odie Fitzgerald, and a lot of people were very shocked, and that's one of the reasons that I'm mentioning it again. A lot of people were very shocked that Conor McGregor did that because they didn't realize the news hadn't traveled across the pond. And I did say that last week as well, is that sometimes the news that you hear is only the news that people want you to hear. It's not the news as it happens when it happens. And that's what we do here on News Talk 98.9, is that we bring you all of the news. And people did say it to me. They're like, "Oh, well, that can't be true. That has to be false." No, it is 100% true. And people have said, and I had text messages come in last week saying, "Oh, you're just picking on Conor McGregor." Really? Really? Is that what you think? I'm just picking on Conor McGregor? Why would I do that? If somebody does a crime, we report on it and we bring it back. But a lot of people said to me then, "Oh, it's falsehoods. It's it wasn't a jury." Yes, it was a jury trial because I was watching the court reportings as they were happening. But he has a rap sheet, our Connor. He hasn't. It's not just this that he's done. It's not just one instance. There's been a lot of instances. He in his own pub, he decided that the best thing to do was to hit a patron. Now, granted, it was somebody that walked up to Connor and taunted him and led him to violence. Oh, I'm not excusing the fact. If you walk up to somebody that is a mixed martial artist who has proven himself to be fit and healthy, you don't walk up to them and try and taunt them. But then again, Connor should have known better and not retaliated. He's been on charges for many things. Many of his cases have left the court, but he's been on a lot of charges for a lot of different violent acts that he has committed. So I'm just trying to highlight that as well. But one of the things that has happened now is that Connor has, now I'm not going to say the brands, but he has a whiskey brand and he has a stout, which is like an Irish beer. He has those brands and they have been dropped by all of the leading supermarkets within Ireland and the UK. Brands like the supermarket brands are Tesco's, Sainsbury's, the big, you've heard of them at some stage, and they've dropped all of it. Super Value, Super Quinn, all of the Irish retailers have now dropped his products. He worked with Activision on a game, and they are now trying to find a way to remove his voice from the game that he was in. All because, a guy, and I will never understand this. I've talked about it before, whether it's the thrill of the chase or what it is. I don't know. What he did was, you cannot condone anything that he has done. But a sexual assault on a young lady, no, definitely not. 100% definitely not. This is a man, he could walk into a bar and any lady that, any girl that shows interest towards him, which a lot of ladies would, and then he decides to go and do something like that. So yeah, so I'm sorry, Connor, but I've never been a fan of yours, but I think a lot more people are going to drop, or they're going to drop you as much as the realtors are real realtors, the supermarkets are dropping your chain of beverages. So yeah, no, it's just something that I wanted to bring out and let people know that this is after happening because, as I said, a lot of the news doesn't get across the pond. Now, when does the jail term start? So that's on the text line 71307. He's been convicted, but he's He's been made to pay the damages, but nothing else has gone from that. So you're probably right, Texter. It's not going to happen. Another texter, Odie McGregor is an animal in and out of the ring. Why would anybody mess with him or be alone with him? There you go as well. You know, he just has no. I think he has possibly no moral compass, or he's just, as the texter says, an animal, an absolute animal. So you know that's something, because a lot of people say to me, a lot of people did say to me many times, "Do you like Conor McGregor? Do you like his fighting?" No, no, I never have, and I never did. I just, the way he acts around people, no, it wasn't anything to be proud of, and he's definitely not being proud. He's not flying the flag for Ireland, not even slightly. Oh, Texter, okay, sorry, but the jury trials are now BS. A jury found Trump guilty. Also, he's the biggest mistake was supporting Trump. Texter, that's your take on it. But you know, a trial by jury, I mean, it has worked for many years, many thousands of years. There's always been some sort of a trial. If somebody does something, you know, you have a jury of your peers, 12, I want to say sensible individuals, but the only thing that I noticed about trials with juries is sometimes, with the way the world has gone and with the way the world has stepped up in social media, you are not you're not immune to social media. Nobody is immune to it. Everywhere we go, we all have computers in our pockets, pretty much. We all have devices in our pockets. So we have the news coming to us straight away. So we're not immune to having news coming at us all of the time. It's always there. So can a jury be, unswayed? I'm not 100% sure. Another texter says the lady got $250,000. Yes, they're saying she can lie for $250,000. Well, you know, there was a lot of evidence. So if you're going to tell me that somebody is lying, well, maybe just check up, and you can go onto the RT website or the BBC website. They're covering all of the story completely. There's just, yes, there's a lot to it, and I believe that juries do work. Again, as said, there's so much happening in social media, and we are bombarded with information every single day, all of the time, every single day, which it stops us from being completely impartial, but it's just something that's out there. Now, when I come back, I think we're about ready to head to the news in a minute. When I come back, I'm going to be talking more about the grits, because, you know, the food has really, the food fight has really taken off. Anyway, you are listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady, Odie sitting in, News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
Breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. 98.9 WORD. Stay in the is Straight Talk with Bill Frady on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady here on Black Friday. Odie Fitzgerald filling in for Bill as best I can. The text line, it's pretty much turned into grit versus mashed potatoes versus putting something on them show today, kind of. Yep, not sure how that's going. People are asking, is the stream down? No, stream is working fine. Everything is up. They're asking, is the app? No, the app is working as well. That's on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. I am live as well, so if you want to have a conversation with Odie, you can get me on the WORD talk line 800 905 0989. I am taking your comments very seriously today. Now, this may put the cat among the pigeons. No, I'm not talking a little bit more about mashed potatoes, grits, and all that kind of stuff. I will get back to them because the grit gate, as I'm liking to call it, has after exploding a little bit today. Don't forget, you can get us on the stream as well, the live, the 98.9 WRD stream, or on my own personal stream, which is OD_Fitzgerald on Facebook and on YouTube. Is driving a right or a privilege? That's what I want to know. I want your opinion on this. Do you think that everybody should have the right to be able to drive, or do you think it is a privilege that a certain amount of people should have? Now, I'm not talking about privileged people, people that have loads of money or people that are doing their best to get by. I'm talking about, should anybody be allowed to get behind the wheel of a vehicle? There's a couple of reasons I'm talking about this today. First of all, I drive from over by Anderson. I live near Anderson and I drive to Greenville every time I'm doing the show, which means I have to get on to I-85. Now, one thing I will say is that thank you very much to all of the cops and highway patrol guys that I saw on the road today. There was quite a few of them. Remember, a lot of people are off today. I'm not. I'm working today. And so are the cops. Okay? There are a lot of cops on the road today. And yes, they were pulling people over. And I was kind of wondering, are they going to get a lot of people speeding on Black Friday? Yes, they are. Because there was a lot of vehicles were driving past me today at absolutely ridiculous speeds. Now, I was doing 65. Might have been doing a little bit more, but not much more than that. And there was people going past me as if I was stopped. There's a lot of traffic. What's the point? Seriously, what is the point? There's been facts and figures thrown out there that if you were to drive 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, the posted speed limit, for an hour, with traffic, you're probably only going to get to your destination about 2 or 3 minutes earlier. Okay? You're not going to make up that much time. You're not. And I believe that, first of all, now I'm not giving out about the DMV. A lot of people will. Anytime I go to the DMV, I'm in and out straight away. I don't have to go as often as I used to. I used to have to go every single year to get my driver's license renewed because I was a non-American. But now I no longer have to do that. I can just go once every 8 years and just get my license renewed. But the DMV is fine. But the test, the actual driving test, is so easy. Yes, I know. I took the driving test when I was 35, 36 here in America, okay? I've been driving since I was about 16 in Ireland, and I've done my Irish driving test, and I've done my, I want to call it the open license, which means that I can drive in any country in the world, which isn't recognized here for some reason. I don't know why. So I had to do my American driving test. I drove out of the test center, went down the road for about 3 or 4 miles, turned off to a little side road. The instructor was fantastic, asking me a few different questions on the way, like what does this sign mean? What does that sign mean? When I drove past the sign, what did that sign say that you drove past? And I was able to tell the instructor or the tester, and drove into a small little road. And the tester said, okay, I want you to back up your vehicle now and, park it in here. And do a 3-point turn and do whatever has to be done. And okay, let's go back to the test center, and I want you to park your vehicle in this parking spot. Okay, no problem, done and dusted. And she said, okay, you would, if you want to go back to your parking spot. And I was like, okay, what are we doing now? So this was 6-7 minutes. That's it. I got back to my parking spot and parked my vehicle. And she said, okay, if you'd like to join me inside the test center now. I'm like, is that it? Yes. Did I pass? Yes. Okay. There was no driving at night. There was no driving on a skid pan. There was no, it was a 6-minute drive. I wasn't driving in heavy traffic. I wasn't on the interstate. So are we expecting young kids, 16, 17, 18, to be able to drive rationally? I want to know your thoughts on this. Odie, here we go. Oh yeah, Ellen or Ricky Lake can't drive. Oh, why? Why would you say that to me? Odie, not everybody should be able to drive. I have a friend. Yeah, I'm not reading that one out, buddy. Come on. No, and not everybody can drive. Odie, some people are stupid. It should be a privilege. Yes, it should. That's yeah. Odie, driving is a privilege. As a professional truck driver, I see a lot of people who shouldn't have this privilege. So say all of us. Odie, everything is a privilege except your God-given rights. Again, and that's what I want to know on the stream. Yeah, Odie, you shouldn't just be allowed to drive. You should have to. And there you go. I think driving, the test should be a little bit harder. And here's the thing as well. If there's any driver, are you a driving instructor? Have you gone to lessons? There's a very good friend of mine back in Ireland, and she is a driving instructor. And she has told me that sometimes there is people that just can't drive. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes there's people that just can't drive. If you leave the test center and you have failed your driving test, should you be allowed to drive? I don't know. Odie, if they pass, then they have the privilege of driving until they lose that privilege by doing something stupid. And there was a lot of people on I-85 doing stuff stupid today. People driving way too fast. What have we got? Odie, there was not, honest, talking about running late. Second, yes. If you're running late, okay. Now I knew this text message was going to come in. If you're running late, then if it's your own doing, then it's on you. You driving faster on the roads, it's not an excuse. Running late is not an excuse. When I'm working during the week, I start in my office at 7:00. Okay. I don't just work here on the radio. I have another job as well. And I start at 7:00 in the morning. Okay. And I know I've got a 45-minute drive to get to work. So I leave my house at 6:00 in the morning. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Look at me with my time management, but that's what I do. That gives me an extra 15 minutes for what ifs. Okay. The show here today started at noon, 12:00, midday. I left my house at 10:00 because I knew the traffic was going to be a little bit heavy. And I also needed to get ready for the show, an hour of prep just to, get everything ready. And I arrived with 10 minutes to spare for my hour of prep. I arrived 1 hour and 10 minutes early. Okay. But that was just to make sure that I got in time. So I didn't have to be rushing. I didn't have to be breaking speed limits. If it's an emergency, then you call the emergency services. If you're trying to get to a hospital, if you're trying to get somewhere, you call the emergency services. If you can't wait for it, then you call them and meet them on the way. They have the ways and means of driving through traffic fast. People don't. Just think about this for 1 second. If you're driving fast on the interstate, if you're breaking the speed limit by 10 or 15 miles an hour, and you hit somebody, okay, you hit somebody and they die, is that getting somewhere 5 minutes earlier worth somebody else's life? I don't think it is. So, how about you slow down? Learn how to drive properly. Get off your phones when you're... Pet peeve of mine. Yes, I know in some states you can talk on your phone, but you cannot text on your phone. when you're driving. You go into Georgia, you can't even touch your phone when you're driving. Put your phone down. It can wait. If you have to take a phone call, if you have to text somebody, pull into the side of the road and text them. Get off your phone when you're driving. I see it so many times. On the text line, Odie, just because it is Black Friday does not give them an excuse to drive stupidly. No, they can't. Odie, my wife, I'm going to say it. You're going to get in trouble for this one. Odie, my wife hits the trash cans, the curbs, and many other things. Yeah, I didn't say that was the texter. No. Odie, you've forgotten the one big thing about driving. Now, my dad taught me to drive the basics, but we have NASCAR. I learned everything from driving at NASCAR. Stop it. No, you didn't. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of Be Careful on the Roads. Yeah.
Straight Talk with Bill Frady.
Surfing the big zig.
Retirement planning. This is Straight Talk with Bill Frady.
Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back. Straight Talk with Bill Frady, Odie Fitzgerald, filling in for Bill as best I can. We were talking about speeders, people speeding on the roads. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Odie, you should never, ever, ever make up time on the road, 100%. Odie, the best thing that a speeder can do is to whiz that protects. No, I don't think that they should be driving fast because they're protecting us from the cops. No, they're not. They're not. Anyway, I'm going to go to the WORD talk line, and Lucy is in Greenville. Lucy, what do you want to talk about driving?
Odie,
Yeah.
about 5 or 6 years ago, and thank you for taking my call, and
Yes, ma'am.
happy Thanksgiving the day after.
And to you.
And I'm delighted you're here and not across the pond because you are a delight.
Thank you
I
very much.
listen to you on Sunday, and your producer sounds just like you, so you're in good hands. I taught a young man to drive when he was a senior in high school, and this was about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He is yet to have an accident. He comes to visit his grandmother who lives across the street.
Right.
And I always say, Chris, how you doing? Still haven't had an accident. And I said, and my way of teaching him. Now I was just the cross street neighbor, and his family didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'll do it. So the first thing I would go pick him up from school, high school.
Yeah.
And he'd get in the driver's seat, and before he started the car, I said, what is your worst enemy? And he said, speed. Got it.
Yeah.
And what do? Are you a proactive driver or reactive? Proactive. You have to anticipate what the other driver.
No, idiots. No, you have to call them because they're going to be idiots. Yes, some people
Yes.
are idiots behind the wheel. Yeah, 100%.
Yes, and you have to anticipate what they're going to do. But I always told him, what you are in right now is a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
And if you don't have responsibility, there are going to be serious consequences.
Exactly. If you drive too fast, you cannot anticipate what's going to happen. Lucy,
No.
thank you so much for your call, Lucy. Now I'm going to go to Joe in Augusta. Joe, what is your problem with the drivers on the road?
Artie, I got no problems with the drivers except for ladies that are over 80 from North Carolina. I was on the bypass one time in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I'm going 65, and this car, one of those old people, big cars that are like a boat, went by me 95 miles an hour.
Are you talking about these big Cadillacs now, or the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just huge. It had a rudder on it even, and so I call it in to 911, right? And they go well, describe the car. I go, yeah. I go, what about the driver? I go, I can't see a driver. There's just two hands on the steering wheel.
Oh no.
They go, what? I kid you not, officer, you got to take care of this.
Well,
so I slow up. This car goes down. State Patrol goes whizzing by me, and I come upon it about a half mile up the road again, and they got it pulled over. And I pulled over just to observe the situation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching. They take this lady who is I don't even think she was over 4 feet tall, and she was 87 years old. And they get her out of the car, and then they're searching the car, and they pulled out a 4-foot periscope. And that's how this lady was driving a car. These women out there are nuts.
What? Well, no, we're not. I'm not going to say that it's women that are nuts out there, because I've seen some older male drive. Joe, listen, thank you very much for taking the time to give me a call, but I'm not going to say that it's. If they're using a periscope, then yes, I can see where you're coming from with that. But I'm not going to say that it's older women drivers. It's some older drivers, okay? And this is something that I want to talk about. This is something I really want to hear your thoughts on this. If somebody is over a certain age, now I'm not going to mention, because I'm not going to say ages, but is there a limit? Should there be a high-end limit? Should there be, when you get to a certain birthday, that you need to take another test? And maybe you need to take one every year. Maybe. And the reason I say that is that I have seen some older drivers, and now I've seen some young drivers, and they drive like idiots. Yes, they do. They're just stupid on the road. But should older drivers have to take another test? And there's the thing. With that being said, should you have to take a test if you get caught for speeding? Okay, if you get caught for doing something that you shouldn't be doing on the road, driving carelessly, recklessly, should you have to take your test again? Let me hear your thoughts on that. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, or you can get me on the WORD talk line, which is 800 905 0989. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Should we need to redo a test after a certain age? Because as we've seen, when certain people get to a certain age, they get a little bit doddery. I'm not talking about any big White House at the minute. I'm not bringing politics into this. Not even going to mention that Joe Biden is really old. Nope, no. I'm not going to mention that, and that he gets lost when he's walking away from podiums. Definitely not going to talk about that. But do you think that we should need to take our test a little bit more frequently? Because you can rock in to the DMV with your old license and it's out of date, coming out of date, and you say, "Hey, I want to get a new license, please." Now, it's been 10 years since you've done your test. You could be 17, or you do your test at 17. You could be 27. You may never have been able to. You may never have had an accident, but you may have picked up bad habits. You may have picked up, you may speed a little bit too much, or maybe you might drive with your hands in the right position on the wheel. I mean, there's lots of bad habits that people pick up. Definitely. On the text line, hey Odie, we should all have to take a refresher test every 10 years. People of all ages who do and do not know the rules of the road. Yeah, there you go. And that's what I believe as well. I think that maybe we should have a refresher test. I don't think it's a bad thing. One texter just says, no. Fair enough. My father-in-law is 96 years old. He has never, ever, ever had a ticket or a wreck, and he still drives. However, he only drives to church and to the mall, but he's still a good driver. And that's what I mean as well. Not everybody ages the same, not even slightly. Everybody ages differently. And remember, you lose it if you don't use it. And that is one thing I definitely will say about that. So everybody does drive differently. Everybody gets a little bit, some people get doddery.
It's funny.
I mean, my grandmother passed, she was 92, I think, 91, 92. And she never drove. She never drove, but she was sharp as a tack. Until the day she died, she was sharp and she was with it 100%. And nothing ever slowed her down. This one came in on the text line 71307. People, get out of the lefty lane. You may not realize this. And yes, we can drive on the interstate. There's some parts of the interstate, there's 3 lanes, okay? You can drive in all 3 of those lanes. But if you're in the left lane, that's not called the fast lane. It's not. That is called the overtaking lane. Okay, it's for overtaking. The middle lane, again, is an overtaking lane. You're supposed to travel in the right lane, in the right-hand side lane. That is the lane you're supposed to travel on. If you're moving a little bit slower, stay in the right-hand side lane. It means that people can get out around you. If you're driving at 40 miles an hour in the left-hand lane, stop it. Stop it. I've more calls to get to, and I will get to them as soon as we come back. You are listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, and this is the voice of the Carolinas.
At 800-9050-989. Straight Talk with Bill Frady only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Yeah, you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. I just got Rick rolled. Yeah, I'll let him away with it. It's Thanksgiving. It's time to be thankful, even for Rick Ashley. If you're listening on the stream, sorry you didn't hear that bit. What have we got on the stream? Oh yeah, so I got a message in from a listener over in the UK, in England. So does that mean I need to do it in an English accent? I think it is. Comes from Claire in England. It says, there are definitely some awful drivers out there, and people are becoming so much more selfish, absurd, and they really can't, they really drive selfishly. It came from England. I had to do an English accent. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. My insurance agent told me that insurance companies will raise your rates once you turn over 80, even if you haven't had any collisions, citations, or wrecks. Not sure that they should do it. I mean, that is definitely ageism, I believe. Yeah. Odie, Odie, it's called the passing lane. Be American. Okay. Sorry about that. It's overtaking passing lane. Got a text in. Odie. Odie, I pay the same tax on the lanes, and therefore I should ride in the smooth left-hand lane. And then they say, just kidding. Thank you very much. But yeah, tell you what, I'm going to go to the WORD talk line, and we have Derek in Travelers Rest. Derek, you want to tell me about the bad drivers? What have you seen? What have you seen? Talk to Odie.
Hey, listen, bud. I lived from east to west, Midwest, Southeast, West Coast. The worst drivers in the country are here in the Greenville area.
Why do you think that, Derek?
I don't know, from no turn signals to parking in the left lane, everything. Just a complete attitude, cutting people off. I don't know. I'm used to. Well, I want to say used to, but I've lived all over the country, and to say that speed is a problem, sir, is I think is out of context. Speed isn't the problem. I think you should allow travelers to move at a pace with the level of traffic. We have 75 mile per hour zones all throughout the country, even up to 85 mile per hour zones. And here, if we have people sitting in the left lane, that's what's causing people to speed and swerve. I don't agree with people going 90 and swerving in and out of lanes. Those are crazy people, and I don't agree with that. But people who are traveling straight in the left lane should be allowed to go the speed they want to go, and I don't think that's a problem. I think the people who are avoiding and denying the rules of the road of parking in that lane, it is a passing lane, is the problem. And people that don't understand that and want to fight that and think they have a right to sit in that lane, I think they're wrong. And I think that's proven throughout the country.
Well, Derek, I've driven pretty much around the world at this stage. I've been to every continent, and I have driven pretty much on every continent. And one of my most favorite journeys was from Dusseldorf to Berlin on the Autobahn. And as you know, people may know that there is no speed limit on sections of the Autobahn. There is also very minimal accidents because people know how to use the Autobahn. You're traveling at a lot of speed. You're traveling well in excess of 100 miles an hour. But again, people do not stay in the left lane. I won't always say speed is the damage, but as you say, Derek, it's not being able to use the road correctly is the issue. And yes, it is. If you have people weaving through traffic, you're obviously going to create an issue. But again, if you have someone doing 40 miles an hour in the outside lane, that's going to create an issue as well.
I've driven from Stuttgart to the Alps.
Yep.
And been in that lane in a very nice Audi.
Yep.
And driving as fast as I'd want to go, and people come up on me at 130 kilometers, and I'm out of their way.
Yeah, no, you got to get out of their way because they would.
It's hard to see them even. It's hard to see them even but you have to be aware of the people around you and the cars around you. And I think that speed's not the issue. People need to obey the laws of the road. Turn your turn signals on, please. Here in South Carolina, just turn your turn signal on. That's all I ask. We got rollovers here in the middle of Pelham for no reason. It's bonkers.
It is. It is. Derek, thank you so much for taking the time to call into us today. There you have it. It's learning the rules of the road, being competent on the road, because you have to be competent. Don't just go out there and just, you know, trying to fight for your life, because you're not. You're not. If everybody just takes their time, learns the rules, slows down, relaxes, you're going to get there. On the text line, Odie, the problem is that police do not persecute aggressive drivers. They do. They do. Odie, the local courts won't change them enough. Won't change the fees enough. Okay. Odie, it's about knowing the rules, and it's about having the police enforce it. If they could write tickets all day long on stop signs, if they could write tickets all day long, they would. But the thing is, if they're writing tickets all day long, that's all they're going to be doing. And yeah, I know people are going to say, well, that's what the Highway Patrol do. Yeah, it is, but there's not an awful lot of Highway Patrol members. But remember, you've got all these jobs. You've got the police jobs, you've got the Highway Patrol, you've got the Sheriff's Department, you've got a lot of crime, a lot of bad drivers, a lot of activities happening that these guys have to report to. And then you've got people who want to defund the police. That's one thing. I always thought it was very funny when people are on about defunding the police. Who is going to be the one that comes to their house when something happens? We need to pay our police and law enforcement and nurses and doctors and teachers the right salaries. But that is another topic for a completely different day. What else we got on the text line? No, I'm gonna leave that for a minute. Now, do you talk to strangers? There it is. Just put it out there. Do you have conversations with people that you don't know? Or are you an introvert? If you see people coming towards you and they're about to talk to you, you put your head down and you walk away and you get a little bit afraid. I'm what's known as one of those introverted extroverts. And the reason I say that is, well, I mean, I'm here and I do this radio, fun. This is what I do, and I talk to people all day long, and I'm a little bit out there, a little bit crazy, and and people say to me, "Oh, you're an extrovert, 100% extrovert." But I will go to some parties or I'll go to some venues or events, and I might be a little bit quiet and like, "Oh yeah, we'll just go over and we'll talk to Odie, and he'll definitely talk," but a little bit introverted, ever so slightly. And I think that's a common thing in radio, is that we will talk. If people come over and have a chat with us, if you meet me on the street, come on over, have a chat. I'll take a selfie with you and I'll do whatever you need. But 9 times out of 10, we're a little bit introverted. And I went for breakfast a couple of days ago. I was in the Waffle House and I was sitting on my own and eating on my own. And a guy sat beside me. We're sitting at the bar up at the breakfast bar, whatever, the counter, sitting at the counter. And guy sat beside me and he says, "Do you mind if I intrude?" And I was like, no, go right ahead. And I was eating my food and I just turned and I was like, "So how is your day going?" And got a conversation going and, found out a lot about him, talked a lot about him. My wife does the same thing. We've often been on road trips. We've been going somewhere and we'll pull into a gas station and my wife will be either going to the gas station and she'll be getting food, snacks or, stuff for the road. Or she'll be filling the truck with gas or diesel. And next thing I'll come back and she's there having a great old time chatting away to somebody else, guys, girls, old people, young people, chatting away, having the conversations. And I've always said it to her, I was like, how do you just do that? How do you just just talk to them? And she said, "I don't know, I just do." She just chats to people. But do you talk to strangers? Do you have conversations? Yes, I know our parents told us when we were young, "Oh, don't talk to strangers." No, don't talk to them. Even if they have candy and puppies, don't talk to them. And yes, no, your kids shouldn't talk to strangers. But do you have conversations with random people on the street? Text in 71307. Let me know. On the bad drivers, we need to create a city traffic squad. Would that work? I don't know. I don't know if that would work. Anyway, you're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
Bill Frady,
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odie Fitzgerald filling in for Bill as best I can. Bill is at the range, and there's, I think it's time to talk about that a little bit. A couple of weeks back on the Upstate Pulse, myself and Lonzo and Cameron and Matthew, we have fun here on Saturday nights at 7 o'clock on the Upstate Pulse. Have a bit of fun. But apparently, and I don't know how it happened, I challenged Bill to a shooting competition. And I honestly do not know how it happened, but I'm a competition shooter, and Bill is, and he shoots as well. We shoot at targets. Oh, we shoot at. I shoot at targets. Anyway, we decided we're going to have a little competition. So Bill has been practicing, and I've been practicing. And all I'll say is keep your ears open, because in a couple of weeks, maybe it may be in the new year, we're trying to get an event. We're trying to get something to happen. We're talking to the powers that be now. And we're trying to get an event. Now, I'm not going to say too much more about it, but it could be fun. It could definitely be fun. And, could have a few people around. Now, earlier I was talking about Do You Talk to Strangers, and the text line 71307, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Odie, I drive my son crazy because I talk to everybody. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody I see. That comes in from Lou and Taylor's. Yes, my mother used to laugh at me, Odie, when I would get in an elevator because I would talk to everybody. My dad was the same way. I'm 65 and still do it and have been doing it for years. There you go. What have we got? Odie, I can be outgoing and friendly. With that said, I am also cautious to engage with strangers. However, people that go too far, there's the thing. It can get an attention, and you can try to force responsible, and people can be creepy and dangerous and controlling. Yes, I understand that as well. But if you're going to talk to somebody, you can use your best judgment. And, most of the time, our best judgment is a good thing. You go with your gut feeling about something that's, if you're going to talk to somebody, if you're going to chat to somebody. Now, the reason I bring that up is, as you know, if you have listened to my show on Sunday nights, you know that I'm advocating a little bit for mental health. Because mental health protection here in the United States and in Ireland and in Europe is not fantastic. It's not. There is a lot of help out there. There is a lot of counselors, a lot of therapists. There is a lot of people out there that are looking to help others. Okay. If you think that life is getting a little bit too hard now, and yes, I understand that life can be hard sometimes. Okay. Life can get a little bit on top of you. And if that happens, if you think that there's nowhere to turn to, there's always somewhere you can turn to. You can call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and that number is 988. Okay? If you feel that life is just getting a little bit too much, or if something is going on in your family, something is going on at home, and you feel you have nowhere to turn, nobody to talk to, do not suffer in silence. Do not. As I said, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. Now, you can also text that number as well. You can text to 988, you can call 988, and somebody will be waiting to take your call if you feel that everything is just getting a little bit too much. And that's why I asked, do you talk to strangers? And when someone said on the text that they send, or they say good morning to people, say good evening to people, and what have you, it also reverts back to waving at people when you're driving. Now, I have that habit, and my wife used to say to me, she said, you wave at everybody. And I do, I wave at everybody. And one of the reasons that I wave at everybody when I'm driving, just the little salute. You have your hand on the steering wheel, and you might raise 2 or 3 fingers, just a small little wave. And the reason I do it is a very good friend of mine in Ireland. He works for one of the suicide hotlines, one of the care hotlines. and somebody rang up his rang the hotline one day, and they said that they were going to do something that they didn't want to talk about. That they were, they weren't. Look, we're all adults. They were going to take their own life, and they said the reason that they didn't was because there is nice in some people. This person was driving his vehicle, and he had it in his mind that he was going to take his own life. And the reason he didn't is because a random stranger was driving towards him in the opposite direction, and he gave him a little wave, just a kind of a "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" And he said that there is still life, good life in people. So just remember, don't always don't be in yourself, and don't be picking on people, because everybody is going through something. Everybody has their own problems and their own issues. Life is not easy. We have to help each other out as best we can. We have to. So again, if you think that you're struggling a little bit and you've nowhere to turn, you can give the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They will never judge, never ever judge anything that you do. Call them up on 988. There is a friendly voice going to be waiting for you. And even if they just want to listen, or even if you just want someone to talk to you, they will do that. So do not suffer in silence. Do not suffer alone. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about some of the celebrities who have decided to leave America. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
Frady on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odie Fitzgerald sitting in the hot seat and filling in for Bill. Bill taking a much needed break. You can check out Bill. He'll be back here on Monday at noon, midday, 12 o'clock, whatever you want to call it. You can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, or you can get me on the WORD talk line, which is 800 905 0989. I really like listening, taking your calls and listening to you. On the text line, hey Odie, I really enjoyed listening to you today. You now have a new listener on Saturday nights. Well, don't forget to tune in on Sunday nights as well. Sunday nights is where I do Sunday nights with Odie Fitzgerald, and something very similar to what I'm doing here today. You know, I have a little bit of fun, and I do bring out some of the more important news topics. Now, here's something I was going to talk about the celebrities that have left. I tell you what, I'll go through them really quickly. You've Ellen DeGeneres, Bryan Cranston, which I was a bit shocked at. You know, the guy out of Breaking Bad. Samuel Jackson, kind of I mean, I think that's still up for debate. Amy Schumer, well, that's a loss. Cher, Miley Cyrus, and Barbara Streisand. Okay, see ya. Sharon Stone has revealed that she's considering a house in Italy. Fair enough, if you like it. But they're all leaving because the Donald won, and they're thinking that, what? Seriously, what do they think is going to happen? Like, what do they think Donald Trump will do to the country? And I really want to hear your opinion on that. What do all these celebrities, if Donald Trump gets in, I'm definitely not. I'm going to leave. I have to leave the country. What do they think is going to happen? Seriously. I mean, is it going to be that prices go up? No, that happened when Joe Biden was here. Are they thinking that immigration is going to be a problem? No, that's already happened. So yeah, no, I'm just curious. I am really just curious. Now, something that got into my brain. As you know, I live out in the country a little bit. Live in a subdivision, and there's not a huge amount of houses near us. We live close to the lake. Now, I'm not living on the lake, but I live close to the lake. And there is a few houses in my area that the owners like to Airbnb them, or Verbo, or rental company. Other rental companies are available. Have you had any dealings with people renting a property that isn't theirs? And what do you think about it? Do you have a property? Do you have a property out there that could be, in an area of natural beauty, could be on the lake, you may have a dock, there may be, something nice, some reason that you might want to buy one of these properties and then use it to rent out. Do you think that these rental services should be out there? The reason I ask is the subdivision I live in, relatively quiet, nice. There's a lot of older people living there, a lot of retired people, a lot of Vietnam vets. There's a lot of Vietnam vets living close to me. And we do like the fact that it's quiet and it's calm and there's not a whole lot goes on. But there's a house that is being rented out as we speak. And a couple of nights ago, they just got a little bit loud, just a little bit boisterous, a little bit kind of scary for the older people because they were, out and they had high powered trucks and they were revving up engines and they were driving in excess on the roads of the subdivision. So that leads me to believe that the people renting out this house weren't vetted. Should there be a vetting system? Now, a couple of the neighbors, they've talked to me and they're like, Odie, are you going to talk about that on your show? And, I said, I think I might. So I'm talking about it now. Do you think that if people want to rent out their properties, that first of all, here's one big thing, that first of all, if you're renting out your property to somebody, you should know or at least have met the person that you're going to rent the property out to. I've had many people say to me that they've rented out different properties and it could be a property that will sleep 6 people, but yet the police have been called when there's been 25 people staying at the house. Would you get in contact with the police if somebody was creating a disturbance that doesn't live in the neighborhood, that they're just renting? And it's not that they're renting, because there's a few people in my neighborhood who are renting a property, long-term renting. They've been there for many years, lovely people. But if people are coming in that aren't from the neighborhood and they're taking advantage of a quiet serenity, should it be a thing where a more stringent vetting should be carried out? Because you can go onto one of these websites and you can book a house for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can pay the money, and then you can pretty much do anything you want. Yes, I know the authorities will be called if you get out of hand. If you do something you're not supposed to do, the cops will come, the sheriff will come. But it's just something that I want to know, and I really want to know your thoughts. Common Sense Retirement Planning, text line 71307. I'm on stream as well. You can get me on the News Talk 98.9 Facebook page. I'm on my own, what is it, YouTube page. Sorry, I forgot the name of it there a second. Odie Odrin Fitzgerald. And you can, any of your thoughts, comments, you can leave them there, and we'll get to them in a minute. But yes, is it a thing where rental properties or rental property websites, you know, the ones I'm talking about, should there be a higher vetting? Should people be nicer when they come onto somebody's house or onto somebody's, you know? Heidi just out texted me, here in Vegas, every third house is Airbnb. Heidi Harris, you will be able to catch Heidi Harris in the next hour. She's filling in for Charlie James from 3 o'clock on. But yeah, so Heidi's after telling me that there has been problems with Airbnb in Vegas. And there's Verbo, there's lots of other people. Texter says, I will never call the police for anything. I will handle everything myself. I can see where you're coming from, but the police are trained to do this kind of thing. Like the sheriff's department. If somebody tries to enter your house, okay, there is laws in place. I'm not going to go into them because I don't know them 100%. But if someone tries to enter your house, you can protect your house and your property. If somebody is making a nuisance of themselves within your subdivision, call the police, call the sheriff's department. You don't want to incite violence. You don't want to incite problems for yourself. Just that's what the cops are there for. Like the sheriff department or the police department, they can resolve a conflict. If you're in your own subdivision and you're having a rental neighbor who isn't there that long, they're probably only going to be there for a few days, a couple of weeks. They don't care. Some of them are. I mean, as I say, we have rental properties in our subdivision, and 99 times out of 100, I don't even know it's being rented. There's fishermen renting it, families renting it, young families, old families. You want to live on the lake for a couple of days. We don't hear anything. But every once in a while, there is some people that rent it, and they're just loud, obnoxious, making noise, having parties, playing music loud. I think if you're renting out, if you have a property on a lake or in an area of natural beauty and you're renting it out, you need to be considerate of the neighbors who have to live there all the time. I'm just saying it, just putting it out there. And again, if there is disturbances, if they're coming, yes, if they're going to do damage to your house, your property, by all means, you have the right to protect yourself and your property. If, yeah, I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know, 71307, or you can call me on 800 905 0989. When I come back, I am going to be having a little chat about the day that's in it. Yes, it is Black Friday. Do you need a survival guide to help you get through Black Friday? You're listening to Newstalk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
The Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back. Now, we were talking about, a little bit earlier, we were talking about people renting out properties and, yeah, getting a lot of response on the text. A lot of people saying my survival guide is stay at home. Stay listening to Odie and Heidi. Well, Heidi will be here at 3 o'clock filling in for Charlie. Yeah, there's a few people are saying that there needs to be more strict, rules and regulations when you're renting out your home. Now, as you know, it is Black Friday, and I'm going to give you the ultimate survival guide to shopping. Are you going to go shopping? Are you going to stay at home? What are you going to do? I'm not going to go Black Friday shopping. I didn't go earlier on, and I'm not going to go simply because stores are a little bit crazy. Yeah. Are you shocked? It's like, Odie, I'm shocked and stunned. The stores are going to be crazy today. Yeah, 100% crazy. Tip number 1, be prepared. Yeah, might sound a little bit simplistic, but preparation is one of the things that many brands don't give enough time to. You know, you should just leave it until Black Friday. Should not leave it until Black Friday because, well, might be too late. I know Amazon kicked off their Black Friday week or 2 weeks. Kicked it off. Oh, actually, there's something now. Before we talk more about preparedness and getting into getting back into the how to survive the Black Friday stuff, this doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. So I bought some lights for outside of my backyard. You know the string lights, the little bulbs. Yeah, really pretty, nice. I bought some of them, and I wanted to buy some of the poles. You know that raised them up. I have a couple of surfaces that I'm going to attach the lights to, but I bought some extra poles, 10-foot poles, and they're going to go into the ground. Lights are going to stick out of them. But when I was looking at them, I needed to buy 4 of them. Okay, so buying 2 of them on Amazon. So just this is just, you know, make sure that you study what you're doing. It cost $25 for 2 of them. Okay. There was a packet of 4. You could buy 4 of them for $80. Now you're saying to yourself, Odie, the math doesn't make up. No, it doesn't. The math doesn't add up on that one. So I bought 2 packets of 2, and it came out to about $45 after taxes. Whereas I could have bought 4 for $80. It doesn't make any sense. I was talking to a very good friend of mine, Robbie, last night about that, and he's like, "That don't make no sense." I said, "No." So you know, not only are you going to get some good Black Friday deals, but you need to be a little bit extra frugal as well. You need to make sure that if you want to buy 5 or 6 of something, is it cheaper to buy the bulk packet, or is it cheaper to buy, you know? And I suppose that's being prepared. You could say that's having a little bit of preparedness about you. You need to second tip is establish some urgency about it. Is it something that you definitely need? Just remember that some companies, they will put prices down without even touching prices. You can go into some stores and there might be, I'm going to say a TV for argument's sake, and they say it's $500. Before the Black Friday sale, oh, this TV was $1,000. This is where preparing comes in. Go in maybe 4 or 5 weeks before Black Friday and have it. Yes, I know it's way too late now. You're like, Odie, I cannot go in 4 or 5 weeks because I do not have a time traveling machine. I can't go back in time. Yeah, just go in and do your research. TV you might want could be $500 6 weeks ago. You walk into a store, oh, you can get this TV now for $499.99. Pre-sale, it was $1,000. And you're like, no, it wasn't. Pre-sale, it was $500. So do your work, do your due diligence, you want to call it that. Avoid heavy discounting. If something is extremely heavily discounted, there's a reason. if they're taking $4,000 off of something that is only worth about five, I don't know what you're buying that's worth $5,000. If the 4,000, if it smells too good to be true, if it tastes too good to be true, if it sounds like it's too good to be true, well, guess what? It is too good to be true. So just be careful. What is the next one? You got to create a long-term relationship. Now, I don't know what having a long-term relationship has anything to do with buying products. No, you can sign up for certain places, certain stores. You can sign up for their value club packages, and you can sign up for money off vouchers. Do it. If it doesn't cost you anything, do it. If it ends up saving money, then you've saved money. You don't necessarily have to buy your product on Black Friday. And yes, there is Cyber Monday as well, remember, but I think they're all one and the same. But has it happened now where people are no longer crazy on Black Friday? That's what I want to know. Get in touch with me now. You, right, sitting there right there in your car, get in touch with Odie and let me know, are people still as crazy as they used to be on Black Friday? You remember seeing the videos, they'd be all over the news, they'd be on all of the news stations, they'd be on TikTok, be on Facebook, of people clambering over each other to find the product that they want. $100 TVs, 85-inch whatever brand TVs, $100. Oh, they're going fast. There was people destroying the TVs just so they could get them. Is that now a thing of the past? Do you still go out on Black Friday? There is a lot of traffic. There is an awful lot of traffic on the roads around today. Is it a thing that we've realized that, you could buy stuff online from the stores? You're still buying it from a store, but you're buying online. And has online shopping taken over? Is this something that harkens back to COVID-19? We all went online shopping during COVID-19. Is this something that's still happening? Does that mean that the small little stores, the mom and pop stores, are they having to make too many discounts, too big of a discount, to be able to keep people coming into their stores? Do you shop at mom and pop stores? I do I buy fishing tackle from a store not too far from me, and it is a little bit expensive, a little bit more expensive, but I still go there because I want that store to stay there. I want that store to be there so that I can bring my son in. I brought him in already, but I want to bring him in again, and maybe he can bring his son in. Are we getting a little bit too fast? Let me hear your thoughts. Definitely want to hear your thoughts. When I come back, I have a sad story to tell. I'm going to be talking about hunting, and there was an incident in Anderson yesterday. So yeah, we'll be talking about that when I come back, about staying safe while you're hunting and following all the routes and guidelines. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, and this is the voice of the Carolinas.
By Common Sense Retirement Planning. This is Straight Talk with Bill Frady.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back. Odie Fitzgerald in for Bill Frady tonight. Bill will be back on Monday, noon. Bill will be back in the hot seat again. Now, Anderson's County Coroner Office has said that one man has died after a hunting accident. It said that the accident happened on Thursday afternoon, just outside Townsville. The coroner said that the man was hunting with his son. Multiple officials responded to the scene after a 911 call was made that a man had fallen from a tree stand and was unresponsive. The son tried to give his father CPR before EMS personnel arrived and continue resuscitative efforts. The victim was transported by life flight to the AMMED emergency department. I'm not. It has his name. I won't read out his name. Coroner said that investigation indicates that the victim was in a tree stand hunting with his son and had fallen out about 18 feet from the ground. The victim had been ill recently and may have fallen as a result of underlying medical illnesses. The victim sustained severe neck injuries resulting in his death. And that is something. I know it is hunting season. I know we're all getting out there. I know there's lots of different hunting seasons happening, but it is deer season now, and I've been out hunting. It's a thing that we shouldn't get too complacent. If we're going into tree stands, and if wear your harness. I know what you're saying. Oh, I've been hunting for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and I've never worn a harness. Wear your harness. Harnesses are built for a reason. And remember, you're going to be falling. If you do have a fall, you're going to be falling from at least 18 foot. I mean, the tree stand, I normally sit in a tree stand and it's well above 18 foot. It's about 22, 23 foot in the air. A fall from that height, you're going to be very lucky if you get unhurt if you're falling from that height. And there is a lot of rules and regulations that are laid down while you're hunting. Please stick to them. That's all I will say is that, yes, it is hunting season. Wear your orange. If you're going hunting, even if you're hunting in your own field, if you're hunting on your own property, your own woods, and you are 100% true, or 100% in full knowledge that nobody will be on your property, wear your orange. And I will say one thing as well. If you happen to be walking in a hunting area, so one that sticks out because I've hunted in it, it's a wildlife management area. It is Fants Grove up near Clemson. If you're going walking out there, I don't care if you're hunting or not. If you're walking around in Fants Grove, because there is a lot of walking areas, there's a lot of horse trekking areas. It is a beautiful part of the country. If you are out walking around from October on, from end of September into October, please wear orange. Just put an orange vest on, an orange hat. If you have a dog with you, put a vest on your dog. If you have a horse, if you are on a horse, make it so that nobody can mistake that the horse is a horse. It's not a deer. Or make it that nobody can mistake that you're not a deer. And yes, I know you may make a couple of hunters angry that you're walking around, but then again, it's a shared environment. You have to be aware of hunters, and hunters have to be aware of people walking in the areas. Please wear your orange. And as I said, if it's on your own property, wear it anyway. If you've got your wife and your kids, or your husband or your kids at home, and if there's a possibility they could walk out onto the property when you're hunting, tell them to pop on some orange. And yeah, I know what you're saying to me. Oh, I've hunted that area for a long time, and I know the difference between my family, and you may not always know the difference. There might be a deer. You could be taking a shot at a deer, and there could be somebody behind the deer. You may not be willing to take a shot at a person. Well, you're not. No, you should never take a shot at a person. but you could be taking a shot at a deer. There could be somebody behind. If you miss the deer, you could hit the person. Just going to say it. Just please be careful. Take your time out there and just, yeah, stick to the rules. There is a lot of rules. I'm not going to go into them now because there is a lot when you're hunting, but please stick to them. Now, earlier on in the show, we were talking all about grits. I'm going to return to it because I want to finish up the last segment. Last segment is coming up, and I want to finish up by talking, first of all, about the food that you ate yesterday. Okay. Did you have turkey? May or may not have had turkey. Did you have steaks? Some people say it's turkey for Thanksgiving and ribeye for Christmas. I would agree with that 100%. So get your comments in. I'm going to talk about it in the last segment coming up. Get your comments in and let me know what is your favorite food. And yes, I will reopen the putting stuff onto grits because you and I know that grits without anything on them are the devil. They are 100% the devil. They should just, no. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Yeah, Odie, please make sure the people are safe when they're hunting. Odie, most fatal falls happen 15 foot or less. And yeah, so, keep your head on a swivel. Anyway, when I come back, I will be talking all about the grits, the mashed potatoes, the hash browns, the turkey, the ham. I'm getting hungry. You're listening to Newstalk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back to the last segment here on your Black Friday entertainment. Don't forget, Heidi Harris is going to be here filling in for Charlie James. She's going to be kicking off at 3 o'clock. Don't be afraid to, just have a chat with her and ask. Actually, you can ask Heidi how she likes her grits and her mashed potatoes. Yeah, I think she was listening earlier on. She may still be tuned in. Yeah, so we were talking about that actually before I leave this segment. I want to just go back to something. Odie, hunting in game management areas is a crapshoot. Too many people, too many overzealous, trigger-happy sportsmen, inverted commas. I stopped hunting on game management lands over 40 years ago for that same reason, and that is why some people do stop hunting in game management. Now, I know Fance Grove, I don't want to say it's only archery because, well, I mean, those arrows travel pretty fast when people want them to. But yes, so please be very careful this hunting season wherever you happen to be going hunting. Now, earlier on in the show, when we kicked off, we were talking a little bit about mashed potatoes and grits. Okay. And I said that I don't like grits at all. Hate them. 71307, you can tell me what your thoughts are. And one thing that I did say about grits is that they are tasteless, they are pointless, there is no need for them to be on your plate, and nobody eats them without any toppings. Nobody eats naked grits or grits naked. Well, maybe some people do eat them. I don't know. Because everybody that got in contact with me today said that if you're going to have grits, you have to put something onto them. Case in point, Texter is just after texting in now saying I used to mix a soft boiled egg and butter with instant grits. See, there you go. You're not eating them raw. Like I've said earlier on that I will eat potatoes, mashed potatoes. I'll even eat boiled potatoes or roast potatoes with nothing else on them as they are. Texter texts in and says to me, Odie, I love me some grits. All I need is butter, and they're great when I go camping, especially on those cold mornings. Then eat porridge. You can eat porridge. Somebody texted in earlier on and said, I like liquid grits. And then I said, oh, is that beer? Is that beer? Definitely beer. And they said, no, that's moonshine. Moonshine is liquid grits. Heidi has just been on to me and she says, cheese, grits, and shrimp. Heidi, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, everybody has to put something else on them. So I have started a campaign. I haven't, it is not live yet. And the campaign is grits are nothing but a binding agent. Prove me wrong. That's my campaign that I'm getting behind 100% is that grits are just a binding agent. And yes, I'm just going to go back here through some of the text because there was a lot of text I didn't get to read out earlier on today talking about food and grits. Someone said to me, explain shepherd's pie. I was like, okay, why do I need to explain shepherd's pie? Is it the fact that there's no shepherds in the pie and that shepherds don't eat it? Well, shepherds do. Shepherd's pie is made with minced meat, minced beef, and you put carrots and gravy, and you can put peas into it. I've put broccoli into it sometimes, mushrooms. You can put a lot of stuff into it, and you cover it with a layer of mashed potatoes and put it into the oven. Can't remember how long you put it in the oven for. You get it nice and crispy on the top and down the hatch. Lovely. Texter says to me, Odie, what is porridge? Is it like oatmeal? It kind of is. It's kind of rolled oats. Porridge is a staple in Scotland and Ireland, and I suppose the UK as well. You cook them over. It's like overnight oats. That'd be the closest thing you'd have to porridge. Odie, nobody eats plain potatoes. You will always salt and butter and pepper at least. Potatoes are bland. Well, Texter, I will have you know that I eat plain potatoes. Yeah, 100%. They're not bland. Depends on what potatoes you get. You can get King Edwards or you can get rooster potatoes. You can get new potatoes. I mean, if you eat French fries, do you put salt on your French fries? Do you have to put salt in your French fries? I don't. Um, Texas says dressing over stuffing and always have grits with you because they. That's terrible. No, I'm not going to say that. But dressing and stuffing, as I have found out earlier on, that dressing and stuffing are the same thing. It just depends on where it's cooked, whether it's cooked in the bird or out of the bird. So therefore, vis-a-vis, they're the same thing. That's what I think anyway. Nobody eats, no one else eats naked mashed potatoes. Well, maybe they do. I eat naked mashed potatoes, and maybe some people may eat them naked. I don't know. If you don't like grits, then you don't like corn. Do you put salt and butter on your corn? I put sometimes I put butter on my corn. I don't put salt on a lot of things. I don't put salt on a lot because there's salt is in everything anyway. Anything that you buy in any store has salt on it. Unless it's fresh produce, it has salt on it. So I don't put any extra salt on anything because it's already well salted. And there's a lot of people I know that when I go for food with them, they will automatically, without even tasting something, put salt onto it. Try it without it, you might like it. It's the same with sugar. Yes, yes, I do put sugar in my coffee, 100%. And I probably shouldn't, but I do. On the text line, Odie, you can get oatmeal or porridge without something on it either, or cream of wheat. See, now,
absolutely. I'll get
there's
that.
the thing. I don't know. I've never tried cream of wheat. I haven't tried it. And to be
Okay,
honest,
will
I
do.
haven't tried too many different types of mac and
Okay, give me 2
cheese.
seconds.
Haven't, but I'm willing
Absolutely.
to. My son loves mac and cheese. Absolutely loves mac and cheese.
I'm
But
actually
I haven't
going
eaten
to.
too much of it.
I'm going to
You know,
send you
I've
that.
I've,
I'm
I've
going to
yet
send
to
you that
find
link
a
here in
really
just a
good mac
second.
and cheese.
So just
Same with grits.
hold on
Don't
with
like them.
me.
Odie, there is a difference between stuffing and
Just 2
dressing.
seconds.
Yeah,
I'll have that sent
especially
all
if
off.
you are from the south. The difference that I've been
You said it's
educated to
ideology.
today is that if
Okay.
it's in a bird,
HEI.
if you cook it in the bird, it's stuffing, and if you cook it outside of the bird in a pan, it is dressing. But yeah, yeah.
All right, try that. All right,
Odie,
talk soon.
is porridge the same as cream wheat? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I like Yukon Gold potatoes plain. See now, texter. Some people do like plain potatoes. Odie, my Russian wife always asks me, why is there salt and sugar in every American food? In Russia, this is not so. It is the same in Ireland. A lot of food doesn't come with salt. If you want salt on your fries in McDonald's in Ireland, you have to ask for it. It doesn't come salted already. That is one thing, and I'm going to talk about this very briefly. JFK Jr., he has said that one of the things he is going to do is he is going to make, and I think the way he said it rings home. He is going to make the American populace healthier. And I see absolutely no problem with that because we are taking in a lot of chemicals into our bodies. Any processed food, any store that you go to that is cooking food, all the processed foods, they've got a lot of stuff in them that you don't know they have. One example is Fruit Loops here in America. A lot of people eat Fruit Loops. They're got very, very vivid colors. Okay. Whereas Fruit Loops everywhere else, they've kind of got a dull color. And people actually, in a blind taste test, now I will say blind taste test, they have said that they prefer the Fruit Loops from a different country as opposed to America, because American Fruit Loops are just, and I'm just picking on Fruit Loops because it was something in my brain. There is a lot of E numbers, a lot of artificial colorings, artificial flavorings. They're not good for you. They're really not good for you.
Can
So
you hear me?
it could be a reason. And now I'm pointing the finger at myself. I am a little bit slightly rotund. I'm not as lean or as svelte as I once was. And yes, I know it has a lot to do with eating processed food. It has 100% to do with it. Odie, cornbread dressing is nothing like stuffing. That's cornbread. There's a different one. And you need the liquid form of chicken and dumplings for it, not gravy. Fair enough. Odie, did you know that salt is the reason for electric shock? Yes, I did.
Can you hear
Salt
me?
will conduct saline, which is salt and
Heidi,
water,
can you
will
hear me?
conduct electricity a lot better than They're not. They're not. They're normal. They're
Hey,
normal water.
You there?
So yes. So what have I learned today? Well, I've learned that dressing and stuffing are completely different things. I have also learned that I don't have to be naked
Can you
to
hear
eat
me?
food, which is kind of strange and a little bit out there. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you very much to everybody that has tuned in today. And I will be back tomorrow night with Lonzo and the crew, and I'll be back on Sunday night for a Sunday night with Odie Fitzgerald. Have a brilliant Black Friday. I will talk to you then. Slán Awalia. Heidi's up next. Bye.
Perfect.
89.